What's good? It's your boy Ben, and I'm back with another video. And the name of this video is called Save Job Corps. Hashtag Save Job Corps. And pretty much I'm doing a follow-up video from my last video. I got a great response from a lot of alumni and a lot of people that was reminiscent of the time that they had spent at Job Corps, and it's definitely been an outrage amongst a lot of the students that actually came here, took care of what they had to take care of, and eventually went on to be productive members in our society and in their communities. And it's definitely unfortunate on what has been going on around the United States with a lot of other facilities, like from here in Detroit, Michigan, all the way to the West Coast, all the way to Maine, all the way down south to Texas, and even as far as Florida. Facilities have been shut down, and a lot of the youth that were attending there were essentially, turned away, or really at this point trying to really figure out what's the next move on their own. And you got to keep in mind, some people do come here because at home or whatever's going on in their life, this is essentially maybe home for a little bit of time, because you can come here, you can come at Job Corps at age 16, and you can leave when you like. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, down in the comments, you can leave at 24. At 24. So you got from age 16 to 24 to get it right. And essentially, you can pretty much take all the trades that you want for free. The time when I actually was here, they were offering building maintenance. They were offering office administration, computer repair, and I almost want to say culinary. But, correct me if I'm wrong. If you were alumni that was at this particular center around about the time of 2002 to 2003, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But pretty much back to the matter at hand. But you gotta think about it. Like I said, a lot of people pretty much came here, took care of business, and you gotta think about it. A lot of people got their driver's license from here. A lot of people got their driver's license from here, and they definitely set you up, to be productive members of society and take care of what you got to take care of. And even if you didn't necessarily want to go into the trade, you could definitely do a trade and also essentially transition to any branch of the armed forces. It was even sometimes I even had people that were initially here for Job Corps, and then essentially transition on to the Army or whatever branch of the armed forces. And one of my guys, his name is Steven Taylor. He's out of New Jersey. Shout out to my guy, salute. And he actually made a hashtag Save Job Corps. I'm gonna say that once again, hashtag Save Job Corps, because this is essential for youth that's really trying to get their life together. And it's unfortunate that people in power and people that came in and start trimming fat off of the U.S. government spending, and lo and behold, trimming that fat, stuff like this actually got cut. So you got to think about that. If they say, okay, we're trying to control reckless spending, but people's jobs and livelihoods is getting literally, caught in the crosshairs of people trying to find out about government or reckless spending, and resources like this is getting cut, and having like young people left in the lurch to fend for themselves and no resources. And I imagine before they left, I imagine some of them maybe in contact with a counselor or somebody at the center to kind of give them a heads up on what will be the next step once everything gets figured out. But it's truly unfortunate, and a lot of things at every Job Corps, and it's just not the fact that people are just here just kind of just wasting the taxpayers' money. And you gotta think about it, and keep in mind with anything, I don't care if it's like the welfare system, I don't care if it's the penal system, it's going to be flaws. You're going to have people that's going to mess up. It may be some things that may not be perfect, but taking something like this away from the youth and having them just out here in the lurch, uncertain on what's the next move, is very unfortunate. And keep in mind, so imagine like you're enrolled in a situation like this. You know what I'm saying? You never know what somebody very well could be coming from. It may be a situation where at home, they may be escaping like an abusive situation at home. You never know. Mom, father, or just your parents may be gone, or whatever the situation may be, and this could have been like a haven for them to really sort things out and get on track with their life. And imagine if you're here as a student and you're close to like really, like, I'm talking about you midway to getting your certificate for like building maintenance. From my understanding now, they also have border patrol. You could be a border patrol guard, and you on your way to getting your certificate, and then lo and behold, skirt, everything comes at a screeching halt, and you pretty much just like out of luck. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of in limbo. You trying to figure out like, man, when and if something like this gonna be funded, or are there gonna be stipulations, or are there gonna be changes? Because sometimes when things like this, they have to really kind of go through things with a fine-tooth comb and kind of figure out what monies is going to be allotted. And this is very unfortunate, and I'm here to just shine a little more light on the subject, and give a shout out to everybody who actually commented in the comment section in my last video. And I want to hear, I don't care if you went to the Detroit Job Corps, if you went to any Job Corps around the nation, I want to hear you. I want to hear some of your stories, the mainly the good ones, because bad things happen sometimes, but I'm just here to say, we gotta save Job Corps, because it's definitely, it's real out here, and it doesn't get no realer than this. And I'm looking across the way, and I'm gonna turn it around to the across the way, right across the way. I will almost, if I'm not mistaken, even when I went here, this was a women's, I think this is a shelter. It's a shelter. And this thing is kind of reminiscent of like when I was out there in Pontiac and Baldwin Ave, and was kind of seeing people just going through the motions, being at the shelter, because sometimes you can transition from the shelter to Section 8, because you got to be homeless for a little bit of time before you can get Section 8. And just to think that you coming from this or trying to escape something like this, you know, to get on the right track. And this is really, really unfortunate. And I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from everybody all around the nation what Job Corps did for you. And once again, hashtag, and I want you to put hashtag Save Job Corps. And even if you got some type of social media presence, I don't care if it's like on TikTok or Facebook or whatever platform, I want y'all to put hashtag Save Job Corps, because man, we need resources like this for people that's really trying to take care of their business and get to the next point in their life and do what they have to do to provide for their family, like aging people, like their grandmothers, or people that they really have to take care of later on in life. And this is definitely a good start. And I heard so many different stories from various different people, even from here in Detroit, where a gentleman, he actually got to start as a mechanic with Mail Fire. If you're from the Detroit area, then you already know who Mail Fire Superstar dealership. And if you 80 babies like me, you remember those commercials with Mail Fire flying around in a tan suit with the red cape. But back in the day, Job Corps was on Jefferson downtown, and and he shared that story, and he just said, yeah, man, I'm just happy that it gave me my start. And like I said, once again, we got to say hashtag Save Job Corps, because we need a resource like this, and hopefully they can figure this out really soon and get these facilities back up and running, and get these young adults in their trade and completed and on a career or entrepreneurial route, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, once again, 20 years ago, myself, I came here for computer repair, and I got the A+ certification. And outside on the building of a retail place, they said that we proudly employ A+ certified technicians. And I put my certificate on my application, and lo and behold, I had a career. So let me know in the comments below what y'all think, man. It's unfortunate. It really is. And it's sad, they're trying to trim this fat, supposedly, cut spending, and this got caught in the crosshairs. And we gotta do something. We gotta have an outcry on this, man. It's serious. Hashtag Save Job Corps. Hashtag Save Job Corps, man. And it's real out here. And that's all I got to say. I appreciate y'all listening to what I had to say. And I appreciate my 16 subscribers, man, that's rocking with me. Leave comments below, like, share, subscribe, man. If you just casually watching, I'm cool with that too. All right, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.